Range bound right now?
Definitely. Cheryl, I think the top is roughly 1350 on the S&P, and that's kind of a weak top. I mean, if you look at the bottom, 1250, a lot of buying interest down there. That's where I think the put is on the S&P. But to Phil's point, look, I mean, Bernanke is playing cat and mouse with the energy markets, the commodity markets, and the equity markets. And I'd ask Phil, Phil, what's the bias down there on the floor with regard to traders? Because it seems like a lot of people, like you said, are betting on QE3, therefore they're going long.
Well, to be honest with you, it's a major change. It's a sea change since the Fed minutes. Because a lot of traders, if you ask them, they thought QE3D was dead. It wasn't going to happen unless things got really, really bad. When Ben put that back on the table, it really changed the perception. Even I was, Scott, I was predicting $85 a barrel oil. But now, being short any commodity,
$80 is not there anymore.
You can't do it because you can't be short.
But guys,
you can't be short commodities.
Phil, hold on, let me take this to Tyler Vernon, because Tyler, I mean, you had been talking about the volatility that was going to hit the market when QE2 ended. Here it is.
Yeah, well, I think the market did what we thought. There's still a lot of uncertainty about what's happening now going forward, especially with all the uncertainty. Just a couple weeks ago, Bernanke had said that these were transitory type of slowdown issues. Yesterday, he mentioned that now we're slowing down maybe further than we thought and might need to introduce stimulus. Now he's pulling that back off the table. The market needs certainty, and we're just not getting that.
He doesn't seem like he wants to be caught in committing to something that he really, frankly, didn't commit to, but we read everything into his comments. All right, Nicole, Phil, thank you very much. Well, folks, with no deal done.
Social Security is not the problem. Social Security has not added a penny to the deficit.
Right.
And even the president has said so.
We
so
understand
why in the world is Social Security even being dragged into
Max,
this debate?
you talked about how, and it's even in your title, that we don't want to change Social Security. My question is, we've seen the average lifespan increase by about 10 years from 1950 until most recently. We've seen no major increase in the Social Security age since 1983, and the early retirement of age 62, that was implemented in the early 60s and hasn't been increased. We've seen countries all over and private institutions increase their age of retirement. Why are you stuck on the fact that we can't do that?
Well, I'm not stuck on that, and I never said we're not the National Committee never to change Social Security. We're the National Committee to preserve Social Security.
Months, we've talked about increasing commodity costs, cotton in particular. That's been a real concern to us when looking at that sector. Can they pass it on to the consumer? Are they going to take it on the chin regarding their margins? What is your outlook on these increased commodity costs and what that's going to do to the bottom line of these retailers?
So exactly that. There is a 9-month lead time for most of these vertically oriented retailers at specialty. So we're going to start to see these price increases coming in the back to school and the holiday flows, and then spilling over into 2012 next year. This is going to be, I think, a huge surprise to the consumer. What you just said, Cheryl, earlier on.